Rhonda, and I'm also known as Sparkly One. Today I'm going to be painting this IKEA dresser. My daughter found it on a blog that she saw, and she was looking for dressers, and I'll link that right here, the picture she showed me, and she just asked if I could do that for her. So she ended up buying this dresser for I think $150, and she put it together with her boyfriend. And you know that IKEA furniture is not the easiest to put together. There's so many pieces, it's very time consuming, but if you're on a budget, it's totally worth it. Plus, what's really nice about this dresser, it's really lightweight, and she lives in an apartment, so it'll be easy to transport it and get it into her apartment. And she just wanted it painted white. The bottom part of the dresser is stained, and so are the legs. This is what I'll be using on the dresser to paint with. Now, I am gonna prime it with the Bare Premium Plus all-in-one primer and sealer. So I'm gonna go ahead and do one coat of that to properly get it to adhere. And then I'm gonna use this Alkyd satin enamel. This is water-based, even though it's an Alkyd paint. It's very durable, and I think this is gonna be perfect for her dresser. Now, I did use this paint in another tutorial that I did. I painted my dining room table and chairs, and I'm gonna link that right here so you can see that. And I did not use any primer on that, and it still is very durable. There's no chips other than where we banged the chairs together, but that's gonna happen regardless. But it turned out beautifully. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and check out that video. I also am just gonna lightly sand this. This is raw pine, so it's still pretty smooth, but I'm gonna go ahead and just give it a little quick sanding on all of the pieces. And then I'm gonna wipe that off with a tap cloth or a wet damp cloth and get all of the dust off before I paint. And one thing I just wanted to say is that I am not going to paint the inside of the drawers, so we're going to leave those the way they are. So this is going to be a pretty quick tutorial since we're just doing the fronts of the drawers and the dresser. And then, like I said, we're going to stain the bottom piece that goes on the dresser, and I'll show you that in a clip here, how we did that. But what you'll need for this is also a tray, a paint tray with a small foam roller. This is going to be perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on the primer and let that dry, and then I'm going to put one coat of the Alkyd paint. Oh, and one thing I did want to say is that I'm wearing gardening gloves for this project because the Alkyd paint, even though it's water-based, it does wash off, but it's a little bit tackier, and so it's a little harder to clean. So I'm going to go ahead and wear the gloves, and I think that's going to save my hands. So you might want to think about that. The hardest part about putting this dresser together is probably hammering in these little, where'd they go? These little plastic pieces that go on the side of the drawer. Right, Veronica? And other than that, everything is pretty easy. And then here's the shell of the dresser. This is the bottom part. That is the little leg that goes there. Veronica's gonna finish up putting all of these together. It's a 6-drawer dresser. And there's the front. And they do come with these knobs right here. So this piece right here is the piece I'm going to be staining. And this actually goes on the bottom of the dresser, not the top of the dresser, but I just wanted to show you it fits on the same type of piece. So I'm going to be showing this upside down. And here is one of the legs, and on this, in this hole right here, it's going to match up to that hole, and that's where you screw that in. So this is what it's going to look like right there. I'm going to stain this frame and the legs, and also this is the bottom portion, and I'm going to stain that piece as well. I am just lightly sanding all of these drawers and the top of the dresser. Bottom part right here is going to be stained, so I'm not going to paint that. Just clean the dust off with a damp rag. porous, so you're going to want to make sure that you put the primer on. If you don't do the primer, it's going to absorb kind of unevenly, so you want to make sure that you use a good primer. Also, on these, you're going to have some little knot holes and places that are going to be a little bit more absorbent. So make sure that you push that into those areas so it will cover it and keep it from seeping through. I'm going to go ahead and prime the dresser itself. I'm just doing the top and the sides. Painted top right here. So these are the ones I just painted, and it's kind of hard to see, but the grain is popping through a little bit, and that's totally fine. These should dry to a nice sheen. They will definitely be a little bit more matte, but with a little bit of shine, if that makes sense. You want to get a good amount on your roller, and then you're gonna just lay it on. I already did the edges on this piece, but I just want to show you if we can see it on camera. I'm not really sure, but do you see the difference between the paint and the primer? So you can still see with the white where you're painting, which is great. You're just gonna roll on. You kind of have to press a little bit hard just because it is pine and you want to get it into those pores. When you get to the end and you're painting that on, you're rolling that on, you're just going to want to kind of feather your roller so you can smooth out all of the little lines if you see any, and then just go over it like that. You don't need a whole lot, which is great. It's so nice. So I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to see if I need another coat in We decided to go with the Valspar High Glossy Enamel in Ultra White. So I'm going to go ahead and paint a coat of that over the top of this paint, and I think that'll give it a little bit more of a modern look, because that's what my daughter's going for, like a, more modern, classic look. And I don't think this is going to pull that look off. So I'm going to go ahead and use this gloss, and let's see what it looks like. I put on the gloss, and as you can see, it's very bubbly. This is an angled brush, and all I'm going to do is go along the paint and just drag ever so lightly to get the bubbles out. And then it will self-level and it will be perfectly shiny. So I already did these, and we'll see how those dry. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing now is staining the base and the legs. And I got these Nitrile Gloves from Harbor Freight, and they are helping me to not get stain all over my hands. Also, all you have to do is take some old t-shirts and just cut them up, and then you can use these as a stain applicator instead of using a paintbrush. And what I'm using is this Minwax wood finish golden oak color. And it says it stains and seals, so that's perfect. And you can also layer it if you need to make it a little bit darker. I'm going to go ahead and stain all of the legs and that piece, and then I'm going to tape off on the dresser, and then I'm going to do that base part at the bottom. And then I'm also going to be spray painting the knobs in a metallic gold. So I have to work on that. I have to prime those first though, so I have to get that done as well. And I only have like an hour, so I got to really get hustling here. Of stain on all of these pieces, but I still think it's not dark enough, so I do have this Minwax Poly Shades in Espresso Satin. Sometimes when you're painting, you have a plan and it doesn't go exactly as you think. So you always need to improvise, always be flexible. Maybe it'll turn out better than you expected, so always make sure to just do something different. It's only wood, it's only paint. It's very simple to remedy any of these issues that you come across. So I'm gonna do this, let's see how that turns out. Hopefully we can get a better color that I think my daughter will like. Sides, all I did was use blue painter's tape to tape off the area where I'm going to be putting stain next to the paint. And I'm going to do an inside edge of about 2 inches across this area right here. And then I taped up the other side as well. I'm going to go ahead and use the golden oak on that base as well. Even though I want it darker, I'm going to do exactly the same process that I did for the legs and the base. So I don't want to make it any different. So I have to do exactly the same process. So that includes 2 coats of this and 2 coats of the darker stain. Waiting for the stain to dry, I'm going to be priming these knobs, and I'm going to, after I prime them, I'm going to spray paint them with a gold metallic spray. And I also painted this cabinet that I'm working on with Annie Sloan chalk paint, and I have a tutorial for that as well, so you might want to check that out. And I used it for the very first time on this cabinet right here. I found this board in my garage and it has all these holes in it, and so what I thought I would do is just stick the screws in there and then just prop them up, and then I'm going to go ahead and spray paint these with the gold spray paint. So that's a pretty easy way to do that. It's amazing what you can find in your garage. And then all I did is just lay it across the trash can to dry. So this is the first coat. Yay! Is that the last one?
No.
I'm sweating.
Look at my card. This is kind of funny.
That one works. Give me that one.
No, it doesn't.
Give it to me.
Thanks, guys.
You're very welcome. You're on camera.
Oh my god.
Hi, Mom.
You can't.
Sorry. Oh my gosh. This is too much.
Bye. They too.
Weirdos.
Bye.
Bye.
What's his face? David on The Bachelor.
Oh, the chicken.
Yeah. Have you been watching Paradise?
Yes, I love it.
And then he chops the rubber chicken.